I'd like to talk to you about a new political stroke economic system which I've been developing called Equal Satisfaction. It used to go by a different name, but I've decided Equal Satisfaction is a more apt name. Okay, I've basically written a little article which consists of questions and answers about equal satisfaction, and so I've written the questions and the answers, and I'll sort of read it out here. It's the first time I've done a video where I'm reading things out, so bear with me. Anyway, so I hope this should give a general introduction about equal satisfaction to somebody who doesn't really know anything about it. So I'll crack on. Okay, the first question I've written is, what is equal satisfaction in a nutshell? Okay, equal satisfaction is a political economic system under which no person in society is allowed to have a more satisfying life than another person, unless the other person wants to have a less satisfying life, under no coercion. Equality courts will exist which allow the less satisfied people to get even with the more satisfied people, and the result should be a very equal society. Okay, that's my answer to the first question. Second question, how exactly do you define satisfaction? Okay, imagine you listed all the things that you appreciate in your life. For example, job satisfaction, if you are satisfied by your job, your marriage, if that's going well, your possessions, and attach a point value to each of those those things that you appreciate in your life. Pardon me. Then take all the things you don't appreciate in your life, like frustrations, things you annoy you, desire for things, specific things that you don't have, and attach a point value to them. Now, if you subtract the unsatisfying things from the satisfying things, you'll get your total level of satisfaction at the current time. So that's what I would define as satisfaction. Okay, next question. How would the equality courts work? Just move my page down here. Okay, what have I written here? Any person may take any other person to the equality court if they believe that that person has a greater level of satisfaction than they do. And also groups may take other groups to court, or groups may take individuals to court, and individuals may take groups to court. If the jury decides that the balance of evidence favours the claim, then the court will order the better off person to hand over the amount of things to the other that will make the two people even. These things might include goods, regular services, pleasant duties, or the better off person may have to take on unpleasant duties. For practical reasons, extreme low satisfaction caused by, say, mental illness or physical illness won't be entirely covered by this system. That would be a bit of a step too far. But I would have thought 99% of us will be rendered equal by this system. Okay, next question. Why is this better than our current society? Okay, if the system works, it will give us everybody a satisfying and dignified life. Many of the cruelties of our current system will be eliminated. Poverty, unemployment, marginalization, politicians, bosses, the stress of facing success or failure, and most of the restrictions in our freedom that we face in the workplace and in our studies. Instead, workers and students will be largely trusted to make the major decisions of their lives for themselves. We will have a truly democratic society rather than the partly democratic, partly elitist society that we currently live in. This means that humanity's future won't be decided by the most competitive people, selected by the cutthroat systems of politics or business. People who are focused on their own special interests, for example, sell the next barrel of oil or stay in power for the next 4 years. Okay, that's my answer to that question. Next question. With equal satisfaction guaranteed, why would anyone work? If a person does little work and consumes a lot, then equal satisfaction means that they will have to reduce their share of satisfaction by either increasing their work, as work is generally assumed to be a source of dissatisfaction, or reducing their consumption, as consumption is generally assumed to be satisfying. If this argument is accepted, equal satisfaction can still face the criticism that citizens have no incentive to endure productive dissatisfaction. For example, someone might satisfy the equality cause by lying on a bed of nails on a daily basis. However, I think people would prefer to do socially useful work. Given a choice between digging holes and filling them in again, and digging holes that fulfill some purpose, most people, I think, would do the second option. Next question. So, how does society work without leaders or experts? Good question, written by me. Okay, most workers will be part of a cooperative or state agency. Major decisions in either sort of organisation will be made by referendum of workers, while day-to-day choices will be made by frequently rotated management teams. So there will be no permanent managers. Experts will still exist, but those in sought-after fields will be forced to work in teams that are open to less skilled people, all sharing the glory. So it's kind of diluting the status of the glory. Facilitators will make sure that the more informed view is carried out. Also, roles that carry high responsibility will often be divided. For example, there might be aeroplane operators steering planes under the orders of flight facilitators, advised by a flight expert team, the last of which would be the people who actually know the most about the planes. So that's the workplace. As for politicians, in terms of proposing and voting to approve new laws that can be replaced, they can be replaced by hundreds of juries of ordinary people, numbering thousands of people to be statistically representative of the population. Juries of ordinary people can also be assembled to make quick emergency decisions, replacing politicians in their executive roles. Next question. Wouldn't people be taking each other to equality court all the time? Good question again. An equality inspectorate will exist to maintain day-to-day equality between the citizens, so that the equality courts can remain a last resort. Citizens may decide, or may not as they choose, to be inspected as they go about their lives by equality inspectors. If they are taken to the equality courts, inspectors will testify on their behalf that they have been living the life that they claim they've been living, as opposed to a more satisfying one. It will therefore tend to be the case that those who are submitting to inspections will not actually end up being taken to court, because people will be deterred from doing that. Those who don't want to be inspected may be taken to the equality courts on behalf of worse off people in general by another set of people called equality prosecutors. Okay, there's more detail of this on the website. I'll give you a link at the end. This is just a rough sketch of things. Okay, next question. People's lives being inspected. That sounds a little bit Orwellian. Yes, it's admittedly a greater infringement of privacy than we currently have. However, it is optional, these inspections. If you aren't living a highly satisfying life and have reliable witnesses to prove it, then you don't have to get yourself inspected. Those who choose to get inspected can choose their inspectors. Some will work for a state agency, others independent cooperatives. They can also choose from two different inspection schemes. Option 1 is a random inspection system, where one has one's house searched from time to time and gets tailed around private detective style occasionally. That's the more harsh option in some ways. Option 2 is satisfaction points. Satisfaction points are a system like money in our current society, coupled with occasional interviews of friends and colleagues to assess one's life satisfaction level. So that second option isn't that much more intrusive than our current society. Next question. Not everyone uses money in shops. How does the economy work? Sorry, I should say that in a different tone. Not everyone uses money in shops? How does the economy work? As just mentioned, most people will be on one of two inspection schemes. Those on a random inspection scheme will not use money and will restrain their consumption due to fear of the inspections. Those on satisfaction points will lose points when they buy things. However, it's not like money in our current system. The points are destroyed and the shop doesn't receive anything. So, also, inspectors can set different prices for goods for different people. So an apple might cost me 10 satisfaction points and cost you 20 if your inspectors think that you find apples more satisfying. Next question. So why are shopkeepers and shops doing what they do if they don't get money from customers? Good question. This goes back to the fifth question I answered earlier on, which is why does anybody work? And why do they work usefully? If people can't free ride, as I argued answering that question, getting satisfaction of material things without doing the work, then I don't see why most of them won't be drawn towards doing productive things, e.g. running a shop. A shop would obviously not be run in a profit-oriented way, but towards meeting community needs or whatever aims those who work there have in mind. Okay, so that's shopkeepers. The last question. Isn't this utopianism? A distraction from more achievable goals? I agree that a radical system like this may be a long shot and may also have unforeseen drawbacks. However, as long as we are realistic about these things, thinking about possibilities such as this system might at least inspire ideas or provoke thought. Also, trying out some such systems somewhere might be worth the effort, as we can abandon the experiment at relatively little cost after a few years if they go badly. But if things work well, the system can be rolled out across the world, benefiting millions of people. Okay, so that's the answer to the last question. I hope that you found that interesting, and if you want to get involved, there'll be links near the video. All the best.